Hello everybody, it's your boy Hawka, the Counter-Strike Scholar, back with another video, this time taking a look at Dumau and seeing whether we think he is the future of Brazilian Counter-Strike. Dumau is an 18-year-old currently playing for GODSENT with Taco, and Taco actually said Dumau was the hardest working player he has ever played with. So that's got to be someone worth taking a look at, and I figured I'd see if he has got what it takes. Before we get into the video though, I am making some content on a second channel where I talk more about just random stuff, whatever the hell I want to upload. Here is a clip from the first video up on there about my goals for this year. I'm sure there's also some people that are sitting there wondering why the hell I am doing my 2022 goals in the third month of the year. We're in March, okay? The start of 2022 was a while ago. And to those people, I say, screw you guys, let me be lazy sometimes, okay? So if that's something interesting to you, check it out in the link below. If not, I won't waste any more of your time, and we'll get on with the Counter-Strike content. Let's start on Nuke, where Dumau would oftentimes be the last man in, and the man setting up a lot of the nades. In this round, for example, we get a flash to the right side, and then a molly and a flash towards the A site. And this molly actually gets a kill outright onto MBK, who is playing behind Silo. The flashes are effective, and okay, it definitely doesn't help that MBK accidentally mollies himself rather than smoking this molly, but it's partly because of those flashes that he gets so flustered in this scenario. And then because this was a low buy, I like that Dumau commits to the bomb site just to make sure GODSENT get the bomb planted, which is the initial aim in a round like this. And because he also has a smoke for main, which is going to help them play this post-plant a little easier, as he gets given this rifle and clears towards hut. Once he plays in towards the hut position, I really like how he never massively commits to these fights, but he's always just close enough to his teammates that he can trade these players who come out through the rafters. He gets a couple of nice kills. Although I do think Dumau sometimes had a bit of a tendency to play a little too safe and a little too far back, or make decisions slightly too slowly, which I think will come with time. But when this bomb is planted on the far side of the site, playing towards Squeaky is probably not the best idea, and unfortunately you can see in this 1v1 that decision goes against him. But still, up until that point, a really well played round from Dumau. GODSENT are a very unique team in that they don't have a dedicated primary AWPer. Taco has actually said he thinks that helps them be unpredictable, but on this T side of Nuke, it was generally Dumau who would pick up the sniper. And after he's unable to find a pick off this aggressive play towards Squeaky, I love how Dumau fires this shot through the smoke and instantly repositions elsewhere. Because as soon as Mouse hear this, they're maybe not going to expect the AWP to reposition so soon. And so once Dumau gets up to Silo and sees the molly in front of Secret, he knows that's often something someone will like to peek behind, and there's definitely a chance Torzy didn't expect Dumau to be holding this because he'd fired just 10 seconds ago elsewhere, and Dumau is nice and quick to out-duel the AWP of Torzy. Well played. This map generally was a bit of a dud for GODSENT, but there were still some nice moments from Dumau. Again, here we get to see that methodical nature shine through in this 4v3 retake on B, as Dumau goes back to get that molly because he realizes the value that will have in this retake. And the molly would have forced Dexter out of position if Taco didn't just straight up get the kill before it could land. Then with low time left, he makes sure to switch to the sidearm for this initial frag while pushing in towards window room. And the speed of this decision to go back to the site is really impressive. It gets him closer to the bomb, it gets him a better angle towards these stairs, and it gets him into a position where he can take the fight better with his teammate. Not that that's needed here, because he gets the kill all by himself. Here on Inferno, again, you're often going to see Dumau towards the back of the pack. Here, for example, being this third man up and eventually finding this trade kill towards Apps. And then into this 2v3, I love the thought process that Dumau has, where he clearly realizes he has to quickly force this player out of pit. He uses his utility really well to try and isolate this fight. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out on this occasion, but this is the exact right decision-making he needs in this scenario, which is great to see from a young player. If you're looking for something a little more flashy though, this round will definitely satisfy those cravings for you. To begin with, it's really nice holding for second mid-aggression back here because this archway above you means you won't get blinded by any flashes, and that's what allows Dumau this nice and easy early kill. The real magic happens on this B play though, where again he's the last man in, eventually into this 2 versus 3. And he uses this lurk smoke so wisely. Once the fake plant happens, he pops up over the top to fight from 2 angles of elevation, but doesn't commit all the way up on top because he wants to be as little exposed from CT as possible. The decision making is all well and good, but the raw aim needs to be there too. And Dumau shows he has that as he cha-cha slides to the right with this nice shot onto Spitty. And then finally, he does a good job at just never giving away this fight against Slacks. Always just jiggle peeking, playing behind this molly, and once the shot finally comes in towards triple, he closes it out with a very well taken quad kill where he's managed to isolate every single fight. Here in round 14, we get to see a bit of versatility as Dumau is actually the first man in this round. And I really like the pacing of this play. He's the man who actually throws the CT smoke himself, and because this is the faster landing CT smoke, he can quickly run towards the site. The CT utility isn't quick enough to deny him, and he can get this first entry by isolating this fight into first oranges. Although, unfortunately, this follow-up push ends up looking a little bit dodgy in this scenario. Doesn't work out, but you can understand the thought process as the buy wasn't ideal for GODSENT. And with fast plays like this, you don't want to just let the CTs set up their utility for the retake. This next round is another really cool one, as you see the faith that Taco has to set up Dumau in these scenarios. Down in a 4v5, Dumau rotated away from B to stack more towards A, taking a risk because they're down a man. And Taco is preemptively setting up this mini pit bait and switch, as it's unlikely Sprout will expect 2 players to be here, so he drops the molly down to Dumau, takes the early fight, and does a really good job to get 2 kills. And because he dies towards mini pit, Sprout don't clear this position as efficiently as they might normally. This first drop down is dealt with by Dumau, and then this utility onto the site is so good. The molly and flash combined do huge damage, force the reposition, and then he even gets this kill onto short on top of it. Really solid round from Dumau, and a good example of him dealing with the pressure of being set up for success in this scenario. In general though, Dumau would be playing B, and I think this round is a good example of some of the strengths he has in this position. First, he watches for this aggression up banana off the back of this smoke. This is something Dumau was watching for a lot throughout this half, so I think it might have been a tendency of Sprout, which GODSENT have picked up on, and it works out for this early kill. And then once the push comes onto the site, Dumau's playing behind the pillar, and he does such a solid job at just surviving. Even though he maybe isn't fully sure that the T's are in, once he does drop this smoke, he can use it to his advantage, wait for the flash from Phelps, which sets him up for this early kill. And this is really what you want to be doing as that B player, helping to buy time for the rotate and for utility to assist you, and it helps tremendously in locking down this site. In the final round of the map, we get an even better example of Dumau pulling that off. He's playing boosted up on triple, which is a spot where you generally just want to try and get 1 kill and drop down. That's exactly what Dumau does initially. He knows his teammate has dropped a smoke to his left side, so he can use that to play time. And then this flash is just fantastic to allow himself to weasel his way out of this position. Sprout are desperately trying to spam the smoke to get him out of there, but he finds the gap to deny the bomb plant and win his team the map based on time. And it's these sorts of positions with his back against the wall that I think Dumau was really surprisingly good in for such a young player. And then in this game against Big, I think Dumau's crosshair placement really shone through in this map. I'm going to show a bunch of rounds here where he's just getting quick headshots. Oftentimes, when he knows roughly where he thinks the player can be, he's getting really fast shots right to the head, which is obviously exactly what you want in a lot of these scenarios. Whenever you are that late player in too, you want to be someone who is capable in those clutch round scenarios, and Dumau definitely showed he had that in his locker. First, he's really methodical in this round, coming out through hut and making sure to clear this lower position, which sometimes can catch people off guard. And then from this position, because the bomb is dropped on lower, Dumau takes his time, but slowly but surely makes his way out through door, realizes he can sneak down vents to the bomb, and once he gets the bomb in his hands, he figures he was able to sneak down the vents in the first place, so he's got a good chance of being able to get back up safely, and that means the only position he has to really look at is towards lobby, because if there was a player on the site or top hut, they would have shot him already. So good awareness that this is the one angle to clear, and even better execution on that kill. And then once we get into the 2v2, I think Lato hears this smoke being thrown from yard, so the fake smoke for the Heaven lurkout doesn't fool Dumau. He isn't able to play off his teammate, but he is able to play the time once this bomb is so far ticked. And even though he runs out of ammo here, he does enough to stress out the CTs, get them off the bomb, and win the round. Well played in the clutch. So my overall takeaways are firstly that Dumau is a very methodical player and clearly quite a thinking player, which is already a great sign for quite a young player. There were some rounds where these decisions were made very quickly, but I do think he still has a tendency to take a little too long, just a split second too long to make these decisions sometimes, which I think will come with experience. He's also learning to be a pretty versatile player as he is picking up the AWP sometimes on this GODSENT team. There were also rounds where he realized he had to go in first, so he wasn't always just that late player, which I hope will help him become more well-rounded. And then finally, while his aim wasn't especially flashy or outstanding, it was generally pretty solid just based off of his fundamentals. I do still think if he wants to be a star in the future, he needs to develop that killer instinct and maybe even that ability to call for plays a little more proactively at times, but honestly that depends on the team he's in, and if he's set up in these late round scenarios, I already think he is a pretty serviceable player. And definitely one to watch out for in the future. Thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed. If you did, why not check out another one? YouTube thinks you'll like this video over here, and I've got my own special recommendation for you over here. Oh, and also, you made it to the end of the video. You probably liked it if you made it this far, so why not subscribe? Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.